Hi folks. So today I'm going to be talking about something that needs to be said really, and that we're increasingly afraid to admit to ourselves. And it's something about the world that we've built, and it isn't working quite right. So there was a woman recently in the news that has just successfully sued some of the most powerful companies in the world. Meta platforms, Alphabet, YouTube, all of the big companies. And it was because she's been suffering from anxiety, mental health struggles, body dysmorphia, all of those things that I think quite a lot of us can admit we've been subject to ourselves. So, talking to some of my family and friends, we're all kind of feeling a little bit nostalgic for the old days and feeling increasingly depressed and sucked into this kind of social media cycle. So it wasn't about what was being posted on their platforms. It was about how these platforms are designed, and that changes everything. So this isn't about just content, it's about the design. So systems deliberately built to capture our attention and shape our behaviour. And that's all to keep you inside and doom scrolling. And we've kind of normalized that with this constant distraction, comparing ourselves to people online and using that to inform our identity. We are witnessing outrage becoming culture, and it's the increased loneliness that comes alongside our social media obsession. And that is in a world that has apparently never been more connected. So before I go any further, I think we need to be honest about something. Social media has also done something extraordinary. It's not just about the dark side of social media. It's given people a voice. It's allowed movements to grow without permission. It's created opportunities that simply didn't exist before. It's created connection for people that were struggling to find their people. And for many people, it hasn't taken power away, it's given it to them. So this is where things become complicated, because social media appears to do these two things at once. It distributes power, but it also concentrates it. It connects us, and it also isolates us. It informs us, but also distorts what we see. So the question isn't whether it's good or bad, it's whether this kind of system produces both at the same time. So a relatively small number of companies, big corporations, big tech firms like Meta, like X, like Alphabet, they now sit at the center of global communication. They don't just host content, they decide what we see, what spreads, what disappears, who's going to be promoted for the next president of the USA. That sort of thing is always being pumped and proliferated through these big corporations directly to our feeds. So they're shaping our attention, and that attention shapes our whole reality. Platforms, they don't sell content, they sell attention. They're commodifying us, they're farming us like cows. They're commodifying our attention. So scholars like Shoshana Zuboff describe this as surveillance capitalism. It's a system where your behaviour is tracked, predicted, and subtly shaped. And that's not for your benefit, but it's for profit. So the longer you stay, the more valuable you become. This has consequences because what keeps people engaged isn't usually calm or truth or critical reflection. It's stimulation, emotion, and conflict. And that means that the system doesn't just reflect society, it amplifies the most volatile parts of it. And this is where we come back to that uncomfortable feeling that I was talking about, that nostalgia for the good old days when we weren't as connected. And it's that feeling that something has been lost. Not because the past was perfect, because it wasn't, but because we've built a system that optimizes for the wrong things. It's not about well-being, not about truth. It's not really about connection, but it's essentially about profit and our attention. These systems don't operate in isolation. They amplify what already exists. And those are those things that I have been talking about quite a lot in these videos. It's inequality, power and visibility. All those things are amplified. So those that already have attention and money and power, they gain more of it. And those without it are pushed further to the margins. So this isn't just about social media. It's that power feedback loop that I've also talked about quite extensively. So this brings us to the bigger question. Should these companies be broken up? So there is quite a lot of movement suggesting that that's the way forward to promote freedom for us and society. So some of these people out there arguing yes, that no small group of corporations should have this much power and influence over society and the way that we think. Others argue that breaking them up doesn't just change the system, because the logic remains the same. Capture attention, turn it into profit. Somebody would be doing that, and we're that sucked into this system that it's difficult to imagine a way out of that, of the monetization of our attention. So I don't want to be a hypocrite here. I'm here on social media trying to do something. I'm not making any money for it, and I think that primarily is because I'm not engaging people's anger in the way that some people are. They're making money from hosting content, but it's not about us people that are here talking and making videos on the internet. It's about the corporations that run these things and these platforms that they're sucking the life out of all of us, and they're controlling what we do with our lives, how we think, how our politics is run, who has power, and something needs to change. I'm just not sure what it is. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this. What do we do about it, apart from maybe shutting down the entire system? But that's something for us to decide between us. So maybe this is a moment to really think about that question. What do we do about it? This lawsuit, it isn't just about accountability, but maybe it's a signal to society, to all of us, that something about the way we're living isn't working. So it's not just individual on an individual level. Yes, we're all feeling depressed, we're all feeling fat, we're all comparing ourselves to everybody else's perfect lives, we're becoming anxious. But this is a structural issue. This is an issue related to power. How do we manage that as a normal functioning society? The problem here is when the system shaping our attention and our relationships and even our sense of self are designed for profit above all else, we have to ask, is this the world that we want to live in? And if it isn't, what are we willing to change? Are we willing to get rid of it? It'd be so hard, I understand that. And I don't know if I'm at the stage yet where I feel confident that I could live without it. I have connections, and this is how I find out about what's going on in my local community. It's how I keep in touch with friends long distance. But I think we all have to admit at this stage that something is fundamentally wrong with the way it's controlling us and our society. So guys, drop your suggestions about how we tackle this major problem in the comments, and keep questioning who holds the power and why, and we'll see you later. Bye for now.